Good afternoon, everyone. It's Aniva Menon from hearthealthbrainhealth.com, encouraging healthy grieving and mindful actions. Today, I would like to talk to you about the information overload that many people are feeling and experiencing, and whether we look at it from aspects of politics, religion, technology, any industry, we'll notice the same thing is happening all around. And if we can look at ourselves as the microcosm, reflecting the macrocosm around us, this is an important awareness to have. So I thought I'd start with one quotation, which is by Vincent Truglia. And this quotation says, "Information isn't the problem. Analyzing the information becomes the challenge." Information isn't the problem. Analyzing the information becomes the challenge. Now, if we look at this carefully and we're noticing that there's so many different areas that we're noticing this information overload, what is it that we're doing? If we look at it in terms of technology, in terms of education, it makes sense, right? That we're gathering information and then we're analyzing it and trying to see what to do, right? And this is what people have decided to also do psychologically. So we've become very good with labeling all sorts of personalities, health conditions, behaviors, all sorts of things, right? So whether we do it from the individual level or whether we do it on the collective level, these people are angry, these people are unreasonable, these people are whatever. And it's always these people, right? What about I? Who am I, right? And this is what most of us have forgotten. And when we forget that, we begin to try to compete with information and with technology. And who do we think we are, right? We think that we are the same capability of the computers that we're creating. And we're not, right? So we do not have the speed of computers. We do not have the access to the amount of information that a computer can gather. We know that there's so much, and each organization that I see is gathering more information or data about, this is what they're doing, so this is what we should do, and let's do this comparison, and this is how we get more numbers, this is how we get more followers, this is how we get more support in whichever way. And that same sort of idea is happening on the psychological realm, except we're looking at completely different things. So on the psychological realm, again, remember our brain is not as capable as the technology that we're developing. And then we feel overwhelmed, and computers don't feel overwhelmed, right? They don't have that experiential experience that humans have, right? So it's interesting that when we look at we're trying to compete with computers that we ourselves, our own minds are creating, then we also recognize that there's a lot of overthinking in that, right? Because how can we process all the information that's coming to us? So I came across this quotation by an unknown author, and it says, "You must be extremely direct with an overthinker because their mind creates too many scenarios and they start analyzing each one of them." And here's the thing, right? This is what we start to do is, okay, now we're going to process every bit of information that we've learned and we're going to start analyzing it. I've heard the term of analysis paralysis, and this is what happens to humans. This is what we get so overwhelmed by information, no matter which area we're looking at, because there's a lot of information out there. And now it's so easy to gather that information thanks to technology, right? That we become somewhat paralyzed and we don't know what to believe. We don't know what to gather, what is useful, what's not useful, what's truth, what's not truth. All of that happens. And again, we've forgotten who we really are. And who we really are is an energy that's deeper than just our thinking minds. And this is a different space for us to understand and acknowledge and actually build. And this is a space that we have not spent much time building. Majority of people have believed that they could blame something outside of them. I couldn't get the information, or I've got too much information, or this person did this, or that group did that, and that sort of thing. So we're always looking to judge and blame something outside of us. And yes, there are situations that a person might have a little bit more control in a particular situation. Most of the times, the things that we're looking at and analyzing have nothing to do with our own personal life experience. And we can still help those situations by sending an energy of peace, of love, of truth, out into the universe. And of course, these are also energies that pervade all of these areas too, but we've pulled a little bit away from those aspects, right? We've looked at just hard data. And today I would love for you to see whether you're looking at hard data thinking that your mind can figure it out. And this is when we become dependent on things that come through the internet, right? That, oh, I better check in with this because they'll tell me what to do. Whichever, whether it's healthcare professionals, whether it's an engineer, whether it's a builder, whichever way, we look outside of ourselves where you tell me what to do. And we cannot do this in terms of centering our peaceful space. And surprisingly, when we do center in that peaceful space, I'd love for you to see, are you able to center into a peaceful space and then hold that space? Because that's not something that technology does. It doesn't do that for us. It cannot do that for us. It cannot bring peace. It just gathers information and data, right? And this then shapes our environment. So this is from the microcosm to the macrocosm. I'd like you to think for 5 minutes, not even think. In fact, I'm going to encourage you to try to be in a space of no thought where allow things to arise to you, because as strange as that sounds, it's in these moments of absolute silence and peace that information arrives to us, not from a computer. Sometimes it comes from a computer. You might actually finish a fantastic meditation session and actually turn on a computer, and you will find some link to something that you might have even forgotten you were thinking about, yet is really useful for you in the now. And this does happen energetically. What has happened is most of us have gathered so much information, which then defines us. I am a problem solver. I am an analyzer. I am intelligent. I am wise. And we might be all of these things, but all of those things have their limitations, right? There is a space outside of that. Being intelligent is different from intelligence. Intelligence combines our intelligent minds with a space that's outside of that mind. And that space is connected to wisdom. And wisdom brings us the right things at the right times. And then we also need to have some humility and patience in this time, right? And guess what's lost in society? Humility and patience. And today, I thought I'd also let you know about this quotation from Carl Jung. And again, for 5 minutes, just sit and think, not think, be. Just be present to a no thought space, because we've become so cluttered in our minds. We do not have the capacity of computers, and even computers, as you know, can get full and then we replace the computer, right? Or we will replace disks, or we'll get a hard drive, or whatever. We'll expand that. We have a limited space in our minds for gathering information, no matter which information we gather, and we gather from everything, right? But if we allow some space, we're opening up a space to actually receive information that will help us. And you have to trust me on this, but if you do practice this regularly, you'll notice how many things flood to your mind that are actually useful in your day-to-day experience. So this Carl Jung quotation that I wanted to finish today with, it says, one could say with a little exaggeration that the persona is that which in reality one is not, but which oneself, as well as others, think one is. And does that make sense? This persona that we've taken on, I am this, I can do this, I will do this, I know this, right? This persona is reflecting what we think of ourselves as our mind, which is our little computer, right? And our little computer won't keep up with the technology of computers around us or that we work with regularly. So when we realize that we are not that persona, we are something beyond that, that's where the magic happens. And like I said, I hope you trust me on this one. And I hope that you will actually practice this clearing the mind so that you can have some space for things to flood to you that are very useful for our day-to-day experience. Our day-to-day experience then it reflects the world around us or creates the world around us. And unless we take some responsibility, we will just be unconscious participants in this whole dance of creation. I wish you a fabulous day ahead, and I hope you remember, transform your mind and transform your life. Have a great day, everyone.